All right, I don't know why I wore makeup. It should be all gone by now. So I will try my best not to cry. Okay, so my name is Kelly, and this is my husband, Jacques. I'll kind of explain how we ended up with this wonderful group. This past July, we made our 10-year wedding anniversary, and we were planning a trip to go to Paris because I'm an artist, and it's, full of art and architecture, and as a hopeless romantic, it's the city of love. Even when we got married, it was always, we're going to go to Paris one day. So we were kind of planning that for our trip, our 10-year trip. And then last October, after hearing Megan talk about Madrigoria, it just moved me so much. And I probably came home that night and said, we have to go to Madrigoria, not Paris. And he's like, no. I'm not going to listen to you talk about Paris for the next 5 to 10 years. And I was like, okay. And I figured I would just pray about it, because I always pray for him. And so I know that I asked him once more in passing, just nonchalantly, I think we should go. No, we're not going. And then so they started to raise money to go on this trip, and somehow we were always at the meetings to help them, probably being part of the fundraising committee and just wanting to help them go. And I don't know when it was, I don't remember, but he came to me and said, we have to go. And I was like, put the deposit down tomorrow, because he can't change his mind. So we did end up finding the city of love. I know that's super corny, but we did. Before I share a story that we had that was really special to us, while we were there, we did renew our wedding vows on Apparition Hill. So it was really special, and I was so grateful to have some of our group there. The girls were just so excited and convinced me to wear a dress, and climbing this hill you don't really want to wear a dress. But I did it, and it made for great pictures, definitely. And then Dina was like, you should wear a veil, and Miss Denise wrote me a sweet note with a veil that she got in Garabandal. And I just thought it was really special because there's a lot of, first because I love you, so it was really sweet. She drove me to my wedding when we got married, so it was kind of like full circle. And there's a lot of connection between Madrigoria and Garabandal. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I encourage you to read more about Garabandal. So anyway, so I wore the veil, and I thought we were just going to go, to the side where you can see all the city and not around everyone, because it's very reverent up there, and I didn't want to interrupt anyone's prayers. But Father was ahead of us, and he went right by Mary's statue, and I was like, all right, we're going to do this. It's awesome. And it was really special, and it was beautiful, and thank you, Father, again for doing that for us. So there's something special about Apparition Hill for me. I feel like we all have our place in Madrigoria where we felt the most peace or just had some kind of great connection with. And for me, it was Apparition Hill. And it started the first night we were there. When we went up there, I was in a dress again. I don't know why. I wasn't planning on climbing Apparition Hill that night. And it was really dark, and it was only 5 of us. But we went up there, and I started to turn around, and Jacques like, no, we're almost there, just keep going. So I did, and when we got up there, I immediately smelled roses. And it wasn't just a faint smell. It was, I could have sworn there was just a field of roses. And I didn't know till later that that is usually a sign from Mary and her presence. And only Claire and I, Claire Burrell, were the only two that smelt it in our group that night. So it was, you did? Oh, I'm sorry. And Jude. I didn't know. So that was, I took that as like Mary's welcome up there. So the next time we walked up Apparition Hill, it was with our tour guide, whose name is Mickey Musa. And if you know me, you know I love Disney, so it's just funny. I found Mickey Musa in Magnolia.
He just got it.
Oh, goodness. So we walk up there, and it was just beautiful praying the rosary up to the hill. And so we get up there, and I'm just kind of walking on my own, just taking it in. It's so peaceful up there. And there's a lot of people, so I kind of just walked to the side, and I happened upon this couple who was getting engaged. And I just started crying because it was just so beautiful, and it just made me really emotional. And I was like, wow, like to get engaged up here with the crucifix and Mary is just beautiful. And they were, you could tell it was just a really special moment for them, obviously. And so I motioned to Angie to take their picture because I actually didn't carry my phone with me at all, which if you go to Madrigal, I highly recommend just putting it up. Don't bring it, any distractions. So then I went and sat, and I was praying and thinking about all the petitions that everyone had sent with me. And, okay, I have to step back for a minute. The day of the apparition, for Mariana's apparition, we got up at like 4:30 to go get on the barricade. Just think Mardi Gras, okay? That's what it's like. We wanted to be on a barricade, I guess, to feel like we were at home. So we get on the barricade, and we're like, oh, good, you know, we have flat surface because Apparition Hill is really rocky. We can stay right here, it'll be good. And then about an hour in, we had what I call the Polish invasion. A group of about, I don't know, 50 Polish people came, and they started saying the rosary, and it got louder and louder, and it was kind of annoying. Like, it didn't feel sincere. It felt like they were just trying to be loud. And some people tried to come and tell them to quiet down because they were being so loud, and nobody could hear the prayers going up by the Blue Cross. And they didn't. They ignored everyone who told them to quiet. And it was hard for me because I'm like, we're up here to see Mary. Why are you being like this? Aren't you after the same thing we're all here for? And so it kind of left me confused, and I was aggravated, and luckily Lynn convinced me to stay because I thought about leaving. I was really aggravated. I'm thankful I didn't, so thank you, Lynn, for talking me into it, not letting them steal my joy. So anyway, we kind of joked the rest of that day. Oh, the Polish. I know Mariana would talk about the Italians and how pushy they are, and I was like, nope, for me it's the Polish. So anyway, so I'm up there back on Apparition Hill that morning that I started the story on. A group of people come, and they're like running so fast they're tripping over rocks, and I don't know where they were trying to go, but they were just Poland invasion number 2. That's what I call that one. So I look at Mary's statue, and I'm like, Mary, I really need for you to give me peace about this, because I don't understand why they're being like this, and it's just distracting, and I just need peace with it. And I sat there and prayed for more peace, you know, in every aspect, but mostly at that moment, peace for that group of people. So I finished praying, and I go towards Angie and Denise because they're talking to the couple that just got engaged. And I wanted to congratulate them and wish them well. So we asked them where they were from, and they were from Poland. And I immediately knew that it was an answered prayer. And it kind of just made me laugh. And I just asked her for this. And as Elena said, ask and you shall receive. It truly was the theme of our trip. And, okay, so we wish them well. I'm thinking I'll never see these people again. You know, there's 60,000 people at Youth Fest. So we finally make our way to the bottom of Apparition Hill. And when we get to the place where we were standing by the Polish, the morning of the apparition, Thomas and Marta are sitting in the exact same spot. And I just had to kind of giggle again because I knew it was her again saying, "Here's your piece." And I'm crying because don't do that, it's gonna make me cry again. You know, I think we all want peace. We're all searching for it, we all want it. And sometimes, you know, generational sin can leave us wanting peace in our families. And I think people spend a lot of time searching for that peace and praying for that peace. And we were able to find it in 9 days. And it's almost unbelievable. And I almost feel like I don't deserve it. But I know that she wanted me to have it, and as well as Jesus wanted me to have that peace and to find it there. And I know we didn't go on this trip. It wasn't a coincidence at all. Just like meeting Thomas and Marta. So when we saw them there in that spot where we had sat with the Polish that morning, Thomas said, "Oh, we see each other again. We're family now." And I was like, "Indeed." And I was like, "Yes, we are family, Polish and all." And he said, "We'll see you again." And I honestly didn't think we would see them again. But we did. We saw them the next day at Youth Fest when we were dancing and singing with the kids. And yes, we call them our kids because we feel like they're family, so I hope the parents are okay with that. And then our last night in Medjugorje, we were trying to cram everything in, so we decided to go to the Risen Christ one more time because the lines had always been really long to wipe the water that drips from the Risen Christ, and I really wanted to bring some cloths home. And so usually the line forms right down the middle to where the statue is, and for some reason, a group of people from Poland had formed a line that went around the cross, the Risen Christ, and we had a guy in our group that had joined us they were from North Carolina, him and his family, and we were all a little agitated, obviously, because we all wanted our chance, and we thought they would go and then we would go. We were forming the correct line. And, you know, it kind of got a little heated for a minute, and I just stepped away, and I was like, it's not worth it. I'll just go and admire him from the seating that they have right there. And I didn't notice it at first, but Thomas and Marta came in. I can't make this up, y'all. They came in and they knelt right in front of the Risen Christ, and as soon as they came, they went, which is probably why I didn't see them, but I believe it was Paige and Adeline said, "Oh, aren't those your friends?" So I literally run after them because I knew why they were there that night, and we run after them and told them hi, had a nice conversation with them. We're able to get their contact information because I figured if we've run into you 4 times now, like God really wants us, to have some kind of connection and relationship further on from here. So it is my hope that we will see them again, and I'm pretty sure we will. But luckily, we can stay in touch with them through Facebook and email. So that was kind of what Angie calls our God wink on that trip. There's so many wonderful things about Medjugorje. Obviously, the peace and love is like nothing that I could ever put into words. Besides from Apparition Hill and being there, I thought the confessional square was just remarkable. I would just go there and kind of people watch, which seems really funny to watch people have confession. I couldn't really hear their confessions because they were all speaking another language, but we're talking about like hundreds of people, and it was just beautiful. It was like, the sacrament of confession just present in Jesus's presence. And I also agree with Deacon Mike. We all went there like searching for something or looking for a sign, and aside from being blessed to see the miracle of the sun and witness these children grow in their faith, I think Mary wanted to remind us, and she did mention it in the apparition on August 2nd, that the miracle is in the Eucharist and the presence of her son there. And I think it's really important that we remember that. And that was one of my take-homes, as well as a new dedication and a new devotion to the Rosary. So I'm going to hand it over to you now.
So those of y'all who know me know that when I start talking, I usually don't stop. And since we've been back, I cannot find any word to describe my experience, our experience with all of these great people. So much so that even now, the words just leave me. The only thing I've been able to put together is it's not something you can describe. There's no words that describe it. There's nothing I can say, no matter how philosophical I am sometimes and try and sound smart and say all kind of dragged out, exaggerated things. There's nothing I can say to describe what's there. You just have to go and experience it. That's the only way you'll ever know. You have to be there. You have to experience it. Watching the change that all of these youth had. I'll be nice. I'll call y'all youth. Just witnessing that is changed me. I know it changed Kelly. We talk about it all the time. We do call them our kids because there's a very strong bond that we have between them and us. It's just, you have to go there. While we were there, I'd never been to a healing service before. And so the healing mass and service that we had there was my first one. And Angie comes up to me and Denise, and they're like, "We're going to need you to help catch people." Well, for those who don't know me, I injured myself twice in the last year. One was a fractured heel, and the other I broke my wrist. And I haven't been able to squat down or kneel since the first injury. And so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to set people down on the floor without me falling with them. But somehow I managed it. No pain, no swelling, just it worked out perfect. It was like second nature. It's like I'd been doing it all my life. So that was one of the things I took from it, and that it was very, very powerful, very moving to experience that healing service. And I think that was kind of around the time that I started feeling a little bit of change. Because up until then, I didn't feel anything at either of the apparitions we went to, other than at the first one, I got forced into the barricade to stand on an off-camber section of ground where that day my ankle swelled up to the size of a softball from just standing in that bad position for 2 to 3 hours. And I was aggravated, but I think at the healing service, everything pretty much changed.
And confession.
It's just, like I said, I don't have no words. It's hard to describe. You have to go there. You have to experience it. And I'm with Dina, Megan's Mission. Whoever wants to go, let me know. We'll take you. We'll get you the money. We'll do what we have to do.